Now, my role was no different than your role could have been. One of the greatest preparations I've ever had for public life has been my career in public accounting. So much of what we do turns on knowing how to communicate financial data, knowing how to prepare analyses, knowing how to communicate, some of those things that we learn early on in our profession. So those of you who are considering or have considered but not yet accepted the call, I hope you will consider this, that if an ordinary person like me can find an opportunity to serve the community for 30 years, and I think effectively, and to serve our profession, you can do even more. So there are a lot of ways you can get involved. I understand you have a PAC committee meeting today. That's one way. I mean, in the very least, you ought to be out there providing funding for candidates who are willing to take a third or half or more of their time and devote it to public office and represent us in that process. Horribly expensive. Early on in my career, I served as managing partner of our firm, so I had a certain amount of discretion, but I arbitrarily reduced my income by 20% the first year that I served in the General Assembly, thinking 20% is more than it would ever take of my time. Well, it turned out it was more than that. I had to make more adjustments. So it is a sacrifice of income for those who serve. It's a sacrifice of time. It's a sacrifice of family time. But it's all well worth it when someone comes to you and says, thank you for helping me solve that problem that I could not have solved on my own. And they're simple problems. The irony, someone will ask me sometimes, to whom are you loyal in public office? I said, well, we run by party in Virginia, and sometimes 300 or 400 people in a hot July night in an auditorium somewhere will choose their candidate. So obviously I have 300 or 400 people I have to make sure that I'm loyal to. Or if it's a primary, there may be, in my Senate district, there may be 15 or 20,000 people who will vote, so there are another 7,500 or so I have to be loyal to. Fortunately, over the years, I've attracted 500 or 600 very loyal financial supporters, including the VS CPA, I might say, and you have to be loyal to them. And then in a general election, in a Senate district of 200,000 people like I have, there may be 50,000 people who vote, so there are 25,000 plus one that I need to be loyal to. But in truth, after all of that's over, most of the people that I serve, work with, and assist probably didn't register to vote. If they're registered, they had a 50-50 chance they didn't vote. They're not active in party politics, so they were not part of that 300 or that primary effort. They certainly do not contribute, many of whom cannot contribute. But we spend all of our time working primarily with people who just have problems that we happen to have the ability to solve. They're not the people who put me in office. But unless I get in office, then I can't give back to this constituency, this larger constituency that needs a lot of help. So that's kind of how I got involved and how I transitioned to the role that I'm in. I started out this year with the expectation of a very strong, very aggressive party primary challenge that dissipated. So fortunately, I do not have a challenge within my own party. So now I have to wait and see if there's a challenge in November, but I hope not. So we'll see how that works. I do want to share with you a couple of humorous things I heard recently. Many of you will appreciate a couple of the items I'll mention. First of all, there was a story about someone who wanted to add to their staff in an accounting firm, so they went down to a pet shop because they'd heard that parrots were especially adaptable to the accounting field. So he talked to the owner of the pet shop and he said, well, I have 3 parrots. This one is $300. This one's $500. This one is $1,000. So he said, well, let's start with the $300. What does he do? He said, well, he is especially good at doing complex audits. Great. How about the second one? Well, the second one can do everything the first one could do, except he can also do financial projections. He's really good at Excel. So what's the third one do? So, well, we don't know. So what do you mean we don't know? So we've never seen him do anything. We don't know what he does, but the other two call him managing partner. So it's amazing how our profession has changed over the years, and I've been especially proud to be part of it. I'm proud that we all share in a profession that's honored in not only the business world, but in the legislative world. We are held in the highest esteem. You are very well represented when the VSCPA, its members, and Emily and Stephanie and others come to the Capitol. They are well received, well respected, and do an excellent job of representing us in the legislative process. So thank you for all the things that you've done for me over the years. And most particularly, I hope you will accept the call as I have to at least give back something of the great benefits and the great resources that we've been given through our profession and the experience and knowledge that we have. There's a great need for you to provide that in the arena of helping other people. So I encourage you to do that. Thanks again for letting me be with you.